Pinball Mayhem, quick video here. I'm going to be talking about token mechs and converting a standard quarter mech into a token mech. These are two mechs which I've tested, and I put a T for token. I use 0.900 size tokens in my games, and I put a Q for quarter. A lot of times the stickers fall off, and when they do, it's really hard to figure out what they are. So test all your mechs that you have laying around, letter them with a little bit of Sharpie, and talk about how it's supposed to work. This is where the good coin is supposed to come out, and these are your reject spots. What happens is the coin that come in is going to get cradled here. If it's too small, it drops right through and out, right here. If it's the right size, it's going to get turned and going to go head this way, and the magnet's going to slow it down right here, and it should then bounce back down to here. If it doesn't slow down, it will go right past where it needs to go and go out. Here's your screw for adjusting the magnet depth back and forth. So I'm just going to quickly drop a quarter through. Hard to see. Really hard to see, goes here and back. If I hold the magnet back, drop the quarter through again, notice it putting some pressure on it where I shouldn't. It comes out the right side. That's because the magnet's not slowing it down. So that's an adjustment you can make. What makes this different from the token? Now, it's always advisable to have multiple different tokens around, especially ones you're using. I really like the newer brass ones. Nickel-coated brass are fine. Some of these are aluminum, a little lighter, or tin and cheaper, and these are not going to work well. Generally, I have most problems with these tinner ones, and so I'm moving away from those to all brass ones, original or new. That goes right by. So, if I try to put a quarter through a token mech, a jam. It doesn't rock here, and that's where you have to reject and it comes out. Try to put a token through a quarter mech, it goes right by this. I can actually hold this rocker, goes right through it, and let's see what goes right through it and by. Getting a little closer, see there's a little letter D and E. So E appears to be the right letter. Of course, the first easiest option would be is to find a whole bunch with the E on there. Or you notice the weight's a little bit different size. Since this is for home use, we can do a little bit of playing around with the D to try to get it to work. So, holding this back, let's look at how the D, the correct one, is supposed to hold the token. Let's see if it goes. It's supposed to hold it and rock. Notice the token. So everything's spring loaded. Supposed to hold it, and notice it hits this little lever here. That's going to allow this to not lock. So if it's to the wrong diameter, it's going to lock on that. For home use, you can remove the anti-cheat stuff as much as you need to. So let's look at that. It's going to rock down, then when it releases the correct angle, it's going to hit this ramp. So that's what we need to accomplish with this quarter mech. Look at it. We still have the ramp in the same location, same size ramp, but we go right through. So, ramp's still in the same spot, but we go right through. So we need to make that match what the other one is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tab and that tab, I'm going to bend it in a little bit and see if that does what I need to. I'll be right back. And just for giggles, I threw the E on the quarter mech, and we can see it works correctly. Alright, I got it all adjusted. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. I took my token one, I took my aluminum token, put it in there where it stops. Now notice these are straight, and I trace it with a pencil. Of course, this is not my best token because it jams in everything, hence it's in the test bin. Okay, so I got a tracing of how it intersected the mech. So I then took my D, and when I lined it up, I noticed that the right side was perfect. It's exactly where I wanted to go. The left side was loose. It was actually falling through. So I did is I took and I bent it back, and I choked up more, and I bent it forward. Now just be careful, this is old brittle metal. So standing needle, no pliers, no He-Man stuff. The other thing to keep an eye on though is if you're bending it, this tab is going to have a tendency to dive down towards the mech. So you might want to make sure it's straight and then recheck your profile. Or also you can see there where it's grabbing the coin on mine. Now the reason why you want to make sure that doesn't dive is because even though I'm checking it right on the face, you're reading it back a little bit. And you put it into your mech. So E-clip here I took off just to help. It can rub on the back depending on the back plate. Now this is my quarter mech, my quarter letter. I'm going to put, there it is, it's on the left. So one thing you want to do is, notice I got a whole bunch of tokens here. Try my aluminum one. Alright, that works. This could work sometime, not all the time. Yep, it failed. Brass. New brass. Old brass. Good. Another old brass. Not aluminum, nickel plated brass. Oh, got one jammed. Let's try that again. Why is it jammy? It's getting stuck in there. Of course, new clean tokens are going to run the best. Another thing you can do, I use a little bit of tri-flow. This is metal on metal, so you don't want to gob it. Remember, we're not operators here, so we can do just a little dab of tri-flow oil. Where the seat clip's going to hold. See, this is the trouble one. So it was just sticking a little bit. Something to keep in mind is if you have a machine, let's say like Starship Troopers, Segas with the really canted cabinets, that's going to be a lot harder to get a mechanism to work. I had to go with a professional plastic and metal, newer token mech for that game. So just keep in mind when the coin door starts getting angled, it's going to affect the way these older mechs work. So that's the D all put together. Let's try it again. Test, test, test. Another reason something could jam would be if there's some goo on here. One other thing I'm going to point out, on this mech, if I was going to use that with the other arm, I would actually just recommend removing this little guy. Put it in a baggie with your mechs. The only thing that is for is to keep it, it's not quite diameter and hits this. You could just play with the bend on the back of this arm, but you're not getting money off of this. It's just going to help you get some mechs for home use and get your games all on tokens. I have one slot out of the 2 on tokens in most of my games. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and see our new videos that we release